knowledge of that.
Okay. Who am I speaking with?
Timothy.
Oh, hi, Timothy.
Hi.
Could you give me information on what happens exactly after somebody passes from this lifetime into the afterlife?
And they make their transition?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's different depending on what your belief system is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so everybody's different?
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if your belief system is that you're going to burn in a fiery hell.
Do you do that?
I mean, we don't do that. You do it to yourself. But most souls transcend and go through the process of transformation from their human form to their soul form very seamlessly. And there they wait to go to be reincarnated and to do it all over again if that's what they choose to do.
So, is it scary for some people?
For some people, they believe it will be, but it's very peaceful.
It is?
It is very peaceful. There's no, like I said, unless you believe, which most people don't believe that they're going to burn in fiery hell. Most people, even in the last moments of their life, are praying to God, Source, Creator, to be welcomed home.
And what is that welcome like? Do they meet God?
Well, they are God. So they meet themselves.
What is that like?
It's beautiful.
Tell me about it.
Well, for Jasmine, it's boring. She's done it so many times. But the first time is beautiful.
Tell me what it's like.
It's light, and it's the brightest light you could ever imagine, if you could even imagine it. And it's ethereal. You have no weight to you. The lifetimes are just peeled off instantaneously. And you're welcomed home. It's full integration. The energy is so high vibratory, it's just, you can't even, it's deafening if you were listening. If you were listening with your human ears, you couldn't even stand it. It's so high and beautiful and angelic.
And so you integrate with that?
You are part of that. So when they say it is welcoming you home, it's, you're part of God. So when you go, you enter back into that stream of consciousness.
I see. And how does God split himself off so that you can be a soul being born? How does that work?
Well, God is infinite, so no matter how many pieces you make, I mean, God is everywhere and everything. So I don't really exactly know how it works, but I just know that we are God here experiencing itself.
I see.
All of us, everything.
And so when you get to the afterlife, can you choose to do whatever you want, since you said everybody has a different experience?
Right. I mean, some people think that heaven is the place with pearly gates, and they lay around eating grapes all day.
Can you do that if you want?
If you'd like to. But that's just your own experience, you know, that's your own mental game that you're playing. You know, you're just not, it's like virtual reality. It's not really what's happening.
What's really happening?
What's really happening is that we're all fully integrated back into Source and basically spit out the other side if we want to do this again.
So you get the choice to do it again?
You do. Some choose not to. Some choose. Our ascended masters have all at some point said, I'm good, I've learned my lessons, I'm ready to be done learning. And there are souls that don't want to go back because they've had such painful experiences here on earth that served their expansion but were horrible for them.
What happens to a soul that just got through a really painful life? Is there some sort of a cleansing process?
Well, sometimes they just take breaks.
Oh.
Or they have an easy life.
I see.
The next life, if they choose to reincarnate, the next life will basically just be like a filler life, a bonus life. That's easy, and maybe there isn't much expansion or growth, and maybe it's just joy-filled and ease-filled and lovely.
How do you know if you're having a bonus filler life?
Those are just the people who are floating along with seemingly no real issues or problems. And there are those people.
True.
And they're also simple. They don't require much. They're not going on any large quests. They're not, they're just sticking to a very small and simple plan and enjoying life in a very easy way.
I see. And what happens when you get expansion? You just get more knowledge for your soul?
Right, your soul grows and you learn, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to have many experiences, and
Are we trying to be ascended masters?
not all of us, but we are here. Our souls want to have experiences. Our souls want to be the lover. They want to be the fighter. They want to be, on some level, all of us are capable of the duality of good and evil, and we make arrangements to have full experiences. So in this lifetime, Jasmine is a mother, and in another lifetime, she may be a father, she may be a person without children, or a person who chooses to lose her children.
So I know people do that for the expansion, to lose their children. What kind of expansion did they get? Just the awareness of what that's like?
Exactly. The awareness of suffering and pain and transcending. It helps you grow. It helps you grow.
Is there a balance? Do you have to have lifetimes that are difficult and lifetimes that are good?
It would be strange to have all lifetimes that are good. You wouldn't learn anything.
I see.
You can't learn joy unless you've suffered.
I see.
You can't know love unless you've lost love. So if you're just in a vacuum, having all joyful experiences, then you would never even appreciate them or understand the capacity that you have for love and expansion and growth. You wouldn't know, and you also wouldn't understand the capacity that each of us has to also do bad things.
Right, I understand that. What happens if a soul gets stuck? Like they are so afraid of going into the afterlife that they stay earthbound.
Well, that's an uncomfortable position for them to be in.
And what happens if they never go to the light?
Then they are ghosts. Yeah, they are untethered souls, and it's not what we want for anyone.
Does anybody come to help them?
They just have to go to the light. There are earth angels that will help them.
Oh, okay.
The light's always available for them. They can go.
They can.
But many of them get confused, and they think that they have to stay here to finish business, or they don't know that they're dead. They're unwilling to accept it.
So there are earthbound spirits that just have no idea that they're dead? So what do? Just keep trying to get into a body? Or?
Sometimes. That's not good when they do that. But a lot of times they're just trying to understand what has happened. They're confused.
What would you suggest to them?
I would suggest to everybody to go to the light. It's the ultimate surrender and acceptance. It's the final frontier for people.
Right, it's the final frontier.
And if you've lived a life where you're unwilling to go to the light when you're dead, you definitely, it would be suggested for you to reincarnate. You have more work to do.
I see. And would you say there's a lot of spirits that have not gone to the light on this 3D earth plane that we're on?
Yes, we're chock full of entities and ghosts and spirits.
Right. And a long time ago, it seemed like more and more of my clients had entities within them, or at least they believed so. What would you like to say about that? Is that still happening?
Well, entities aren't just ghosts, or untethered souls or spirits. Entities can be from anywhere. Entities can just be energy attachments.
Right.
And many of us have them, many humans rather. Jasmine has had them before.
What's the best way to get rid of them?
Well, some are stubborn, but most you can just ask to leave if you're aware that they're there.
How do you find out if they're there?
Well, hypnosis is a wonderful way to find out.
Right.
Anything where you can access someone's subconscious mind or the unconscious.
I see. What if you don't know to do that? Is there any other way?
I don't think that you would know that you had one, or assume that it was an entity.
I see. Can you check Jasmine's body, make sure she doesn't have any? And if you did find one, could you remove it yourself?
Of course.
Okay.
But she doesn't have any.
Can you check my body from where you are?
You're clear too.
Okay.
You should be doing a lot of protection work for yourself, though.
I do. What's the best protection work that you would suggest?
I think just commanding anything that's here to leave, and also using your crystals and your black tourmaline, and saying your protection mantra before clients.
Yes.
And then clearing the energy immediately after.
If someone says they have been affected by black magic, what's the best way for that person to rid themselves of it?
Well, firstly, a person has to believe that they can be affected by black magic.
Right.
So, if that is the case, then changing the belief would be a very good place to start. And saying that no magic can affect me unless I allow it to.
Right, that would be the first place to start.
Correct.
What if they still feel like they're affected by it?
If they've come under psychic attack,
Yes.
clearing those energies, clearing salt baths, black tourmaline, commanding whatever it is to leave.
Because humans have power, correct?
Humans do have power.
Tell me more about how much power humans have.
Well, we have a lot of power. We're very powerful creatures. And humans just don't know that.
But what can a human do? I mean, what kind of power do they have? I know they can create their own reality, correct?
Correct. Well, I mean, many humans have psychic gifts, and their number one superpower is their ability to feel and be empathetic.
To feel and be empathetic. Is that, how do you develop psychic abilities?
Well, we're all born with psychic abilities, and it is a matter of undoing and deconditioning to find them.
Deconditioning?
Correct.
I see. To find the psychic abilities?
I mean, they're just there.
They're just there? What's an easy way for somebody to just become psychic? The quickest, easy way?
To practice. To tune in, and to also be a clear, clean vessel.
What do you mean by that?
Well, psychic abilities are, or to become highly attuned and tapped into your psychic awareness, you need to be well hydrated, to eat fruits and vegetables, to have a clean bloodstream, and to, not to be filled with junk.
And what if you have fluoride toothpaste or something like that?
Fluoride toothpaste is terrible for just your health in general, but also for psychic abilities.
Well, where do you see the visions? Would they be in the third eye? Or can you describe the process, just an easy, quick process to become psychic?
Well, to be psychic is not just to be clairvoyant. Many people are clairvoyant. Many people are clairaudient or clairsentient, claircognizant. Jasmine is not clairvoyant in any way.
What is she?
She has gifts of clairsentience and clairaudience. Occasionally, she taps into her claircognizance, where she just knows things and has no idea how she knows them.
So you can experience it in all different ways, I guess, this ability.
Correct.
What if, so say you were clairsentient and you just had a knowing, how do you practice?
Can you repeat the question?
Say you were clairsentient and you just get your information by just knowing. How do you practice? Just practice knowing the information?
Oh, if you're clairsentient, you would practice just feeling. You would get feelings, and what the practice is to learn to trust those feelings.
What if you're clairaudient?
Well, then you would learn to listen to the small, still voice that is your intuition.
So listen to your intuition?
Correct.
Okay.
And or any voice that you hear that is not your own, that is a kind and loving voice, not an anxious voice or an unkind voice.
What if you're claircognizant?
Then you have to learn to, you have to practice accepting that you just know things and get out of the habit of trying to prove how you know things.
Oh, okay, so just accept that you know the things. Okay. All right. And so by practicing, you can deepen these abilities?
Correct, with intention.
With an intention. Okay, so the intention is important?
Correct.
Okay. And is there anything that can harm a person when they're doing these things? I mean, is there any spirit or any negative entity that might try to interfere?
There's always a possibility of that. It's important to be very intentional with any type of psychic work or occult work that you do, because you're opening up and playing with energy fields and different forces, and you know, not everything that wants to come through is benevolent.
And so what type of protection would be the best?
Commands.
Okay.
Commands of safety. Commands that you only would like to deal with benevolent entities.
Is that enough?
You can set your crystals, and you can, you know, envelop yourself in white light.
What happens when you envelop yourself in white light? Can anything happen to you that's negative?
No, not for that time.
Say you protect your family by putting white light around them. Can anything harm them?
Wow. In terms of energetics?
In anything.
I think in terms of energetics, no, nothing will harm them. Okay. In terms of other outside influences, I can't say for 100%.
Does it help?
Of course. But you shouldn't spend time in protection mode unless you're doing your work.
Okay.
Because life is happening, and it's important to not feel as though you're living in a bubble if you want to commune with the world.
Right. That's a good point. Okay. And what about downloads? People receiving downloads. Where do they come from?
Oh, they come from a creator, from source, from God.
And how do people receive those?
Well, it depends on what their special gifts are. If they're clairaudient, they will receive them as a voice. If they're claircognizant, they will receive them as a clear knowing.
I see.
Or clairvoyant, they will receive them as a vision.
Okay. Very good. How does Jasmine's body look? I think we're about done.
It's good.
Okay, good. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, just thank you.
Okay, thank you. And where do you reside?
In space and time.
In space and time?
I'm with Jasmine a lot.
You are. What are you helping her with?
Whatever she asks me to help her with, which is not very much.
So how should she ask you? Just should she say it aloud?
She can say it however she wants. She can write it. She can just say my name.
She can just say your name?
Correct.
And do you have to help her?
That's my job.
I see. So if she wants you to help her with her career, you will?
Of course.
What kind of help would you give her?
Support, ideas.
Oh, I see. And everybody has guides helping them?
Only if they ask.
Only if they ask?
Everyone has guides.
What about children? Do they have guides?
Of course.
Are they giving the children tons of information if they don't ask, if they don't know?
No, we may not.
Oh, okay. So it's a good idea to tell your children to ask their guides for
Of
things?
course.
Okay, I see. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.